Welcome everybody, friends, Canadian friends, Israeli friends, Chaverim, thank you very much for coming under such short notice. We're delighted that you're here. We're delighted that you're showing solidarity for Israel. I found this a very moving time to be here in Israel. I found this a very moving time, so I'll just start by saying welcome to Canada and shalom to Israel. And I'd like to call upon my rabbi from Beth Tzedek, the largest congregation in Canada, who took up the call and has come here to give us a special prayer to start this event.
As the rabbi of Beth Tzedek and the president of the Toronto Board of Rabbis, I want to welcome you to this expression of Achdut Am Yisrael. This is a tefillah for safety and security. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, bless the residents of the state of Israel, who live under the constant threat of destructive missiles. May the Holy One, the Kadosh Baruch Hu, strengthen their hearts and their endurance during this crisis and at all times. May it be the will of the Almighty to imbue wisdom in the hearts of all the leaders of the state of Israel, so that they will direct this conflict with wisdom, insight, and understanding. Adonai Tzvaot, El Elohei Ma'arachot Yisrael, God of hosts, Adon HaShalom, Sovereign of peace, protect the soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces serving on land, in the air, and at sea, on the front and in the rear, and all the forces of defense and rescue. Save them, God, from all trouble, distress, and malady, and give them blessing and success in all their endeavors. May they go out in peace and return to their homes for life and peace. L'chaim u'l'shalom. Avinu shebashamayim, bring peace to the land and establish among us speedily in our days the vision of the prophet Micha. V'yashvu ish tachat gafno v'tachat einato ve'ein macharid ki pi Adonai tzvaot diber. And each person shall sit under his vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid, because the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken. Spread your sukkah of peace over all the residents of your land, and safeguard the innocence of all people, so that all will enjoy your blessing of shalom. V'chein yehi ratzon v'nomar amen. Just a brief background of the background of this event, how it was organized. Last Wednesday night at midnight, I was watching television, and I had heard, which upset me, that the FAA had decided to ban international flights to Tel Aviv, effectively to Israel. I had just come back from a trip in Russia. I'd been to Kiev and other places, and there was no advisory there. Pakistan, no advisory there. Damascus, no advisory there. Why would they choose Israel? It struck me as being unfair and unreasonable. And then at that moment, while I was pondering this, my wife was sitting beside me. On CNN, I saw the mayor, the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Netanyahu, greeting the mayor of New York, Mr. Bloomberg, who just got off an El Al flight. So I said to my wife, there's something we should do. Let's go to Israel. She said, fine, go and book a flight. And she said, by the way, while you're doing that, let's take a few friends with us. And that was last Wednesday at midnight. The following morning, I have about 1,000 people on my Rolodex. It wouldn't really create a crowd this quickly. But I called a good friend of mine, Josh Cooper,
who was the executive director of JNF in Canada, and I said, Josh, let's work on this to do this deal. He says, great. He says, draft an email. We'll get it out as soon as possible. I drafted one. He put it in a graphic form that you saw, and then I got on the phone, and he got on the phone. The next person we called was Shimon Fogel of CIJA, who says it's a great idea. And by the way, we're going to have some Canadian MPs here who are here tonight. They're going to be there. Perhaps they could come to the meeting as well. And I said, great. Then I spoke to the Merle Goldman and Remy Kleinman, who are friends of Canadian Hebrew University. They said they would help. And then Stephen Adler, they would help. I called up my rabbi. I said, I want the congregation to get involved. He said, you've got my help. And anyway, it moved on very, very quickly. And by the time he knew it, we finally, the Federation called us, and they said, we'll send out the emails. And within 48 hours, we sent over 40,000 emails. And we know that at least 100 people or more have come as a result of our request, much more. And the purpose is to do two things. Number one, to show that we're not going to give in to terrorism. And number two, first, to show that we're not going to give in to terrorism, because I think that it's a horrible thing. And more important than that, I think it's important to show solidarity with Israel, because I know that there are not many friends that Israel has. And my view is that Israel is here defending democracy, not just in Israel, but for democracies everywhere. One word about Canada. I've done this before. When Canada got into, when 9/11 happened, I thought I'd take a few hundred people to go to New York. We end up with 30,000 coming to New York. When the STARS situation hit Toronto, we end up with my good friend Dennis Mills and I, we organized something and 500,000 people showed up. So I said, if I could do it for those countries, why can't I do it for Canada? And one thing I want to leave you with, one thought about Canada. I come from Canada, and I'm a proud Canadian. The one thing I've learned about Canadians, if you show them how to do the right thing and get out of the way, they'll surprise you every time. And tonight's event, with so many Canadians coming and friends of Canada coming here, is a great surprise and a great, great blessing. Am Yisrael Chai.